Good evening, everyone, and welcome back after a 2 week break. After a scintillating first round in Silverstone, we wind up here in Italy in the very famous and also classic circuit of Monza. So, joining me tonight, I'm Sam Jones, as previously, but we've got a new guy in the commentary box as well joining us. It's Joshua Anderson. Hello, Josh.
What? Hello?
Hello. So, after that big surprise, we're certainly going to be looking forward to some more big surprises this evening as well. I think it's going to be it's quite an interesting race. Again, similar format to how it was 2 weeks ago. A feature race to begin with, followed by a reverse grid sprint race in the second half of this evening's entertainment. And well, after such a crazy round in Silverstone, so much happened. We can only surely expect the same here, can't we, Josh?
Yeah, well, Monza is pretty much the drome of speed of this car. And I mean, it is one of the fastest circuits in the world is Monza. And I reckon that because of that, we are going to see a lot of fantastic overtakes moves. There's not that many overtaking opportunities in the long run of things. But, I mean, you've got the chicanes, you've got the Lesmos, you've got the Parabolica, the Rettifilio chicane at the start of the circuit. Lots of potential chances for overtakes to happen if you can get it right. But they're not easy overtakes to make. And, of course, every driver wants to win at Monza because it is a unique track in its own right. More specifically, we have Eros Mashuli and Michael Francesconi, the two Pescara SHS drivers. This is their home Grand Prix.
Yeah, it certainly is. They're really going to want to turn up and do something amazing today. Of course, Mashuli didn't appear in Silverstone either, so this is the first time that we've seen him out here for this series in the second round. So it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on. He's done not too bad so far in qualifying. He managed to qualify fourth. I'll go through the order in a second, but we've got about 4.5 minutes left in warm-up, Josh, and what are you expecting to see in your first time commentating here on this series?
I'll be honest, I haven't the slightest, but I expect that I hope it'll be good racing, because these F3 cars, and with a little bit of personal experience in testing myself pre-season, these are very accessible cars to drive, even for someone like me who's pretty much allergic to open wheel. So I know for a fact that these cars are not going to be hard for the drivers to get into. We should see some fairly competitive lap times in the race, and given how easy the cars are to drive, we should see some very, we should see the best drivers obviously get the most time, but generally speaking, the easiest cars to access, the hardest cars to master. So we may see a couple of mistakes, even from the most seasoned of drivers, although there will be those who know how to regulate the pace so that they don't make mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really is going to be key. That I think you're absolutely right, Josh. I'm just excited to see all about the slipstreaming as well. That's really going to be something that's going to be very exciting to watch out for. We saw how powerful it was to follow another car in the first round. It wasn't too difficult to follow through a lot of the twisty and tight corners at Silverstone. It can be one of those tracks which really can kind of ruin the racing if there's too much dirty air. We didn't see that at all, so I'm hoping for more of the same today. And I think with these long straights that already promote overtaking, I think that's only going to help with the excitement as well. So as we wind down warm-up at the moment, with just under 3 minutes left to go, I'll quickly just take you through the top 10 of qualifying, which has already taken place, as I previously said. So just looking at that, I can confirm that Jurnej Simoncic has taken pole position here in Monza. He did a fantastic time. It was very, very quick and, much higher up the field than he was last time out in Silverstone, so it certainly looks like he's put maybe a bit more practice in and certainly improved, because he said that he didn't do too much practice just before Silverstone. So I think certainly this time around he's maybe doing his homework a little bit more just before the race at least, and he takes pole position, and Wutke Hoekstra will be joining him alongside in second place. Then in third, we have Jason Muscat, and as I previously said, Eros Mashuli will be starting in fourth place at his home circuit. Lars Brugman and Sven de Vries, who won both the races in Silverstone in scintillating fashion, will be starting fifth and sixth, with Matt Richards in seventh and Rob Mason in eighth. So really good effort by both those guys, and Rob Mason was definitely the star of race 2 back in Silverstone, so I think he's probably on a bit of high confidence at the moment. And then just rounding out the top 10 now is Bart de Vos and Wesley Stefano. And we'll take you through the rest of the grid when we go to the warm-up lap as well. But Josh, what can you say from that in terms of qualifying? Is there any names that stand out to you there?
Yeah, Mason did as well as he did. He's quite far up the order, and Rob, it can be a fantastic driver. On his day, I've raced him in other disciplines of cars and seen him racing Formula cars before. He is very, very good on his day, Rob, so it could be a potential surprise package for this race for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely what I was thinking as well. So that's going to be super interesting to look out for, and I'm quite looking forward to another battle between Lars Brugman and Sven de Vries as well. They had a good couple of races together in Silverstone, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing more of the same success starting on the third row together, which is really going to be interesting. And I just seen also, Eric Strana as well. He'll be starting in 11th. Just to point out, he wasn't in the first round either. So another name who's going to be making their debut in WCS here today, and he is a very strong driver in other forms in R Factor and R Factor 2 as well. So another guy to definitely watch out from on the grid, and I'm sure he'll have a bit of learning to do at the start of this. Of course, he hasn't seen all the action. He wasn't experiencing the action in Silverstone, but he's a good learner, and he'll definitely pick it up quick in terms of the racing here, and be really interested to see if he can threaten some of the top runners from last time out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Strana can, but he is a very, very quick driver. I know this from personal experience, so absolutely got to watch him at all times. A multiple champion in other series, and very, very promising prospect is Eric, so you can't keep your eyes off him.
No, you can't. You certainly can't. I remember being up against him in a series, and that was the year that he pretty much walked it. He dominated that series so much, and it was truly impressive to see his speed and consistency. So, as now, we are actually going to go to the race. We've just heard the warning. We've got just over 30 seconds until the race starts, at least the warm-up lap anyway. So all the drivers will be taken to the grid and lining up, ready to do their one lap where they'll have time to warm their tyres up, warm their brakes, just make sure that everything's all correct, and hopefully no one's got the wrong setup or got the wrong fuel load in. That's always a worry that I have when I'm just about to go to the grid. It's always a big concern in the back of my mind.
Yeah, I've got to make sure you have the right fuel, got to have the right everything set to be finalised, and really just final checks before you go to the grid, which the cars have done now. We are off and away on the formation lap.
Yep, so here we go. Jone Simoncic takes the cars away and leads them down to the first corner on what will be a fairly slow lap, definitely not a racer's speed, and he'll be joined by Wopke Hoekstra on the front row of the starting grid, with Jason Muscat right behind him for Multiforce, and Eris Mashuli, the first of the Biscara cars here today. Lars Brugman in 5th place for Walters Automotive will line up in row 3 alongside Sven de Vries for Satellite Racing. And then we have the 2 Drake Racing cars of Matt Richards and Rob Mason on the 4th row. On the 5th row, we'll have Bart de Vos for Racing Team Schroten, and Wesley Stefano for EJ Engineering. Eric Strana, as we previously mentioned, will be starting in 11th for Ice Cold Racing, with Masai Mlinek for Hawkeye Racing in 12th. Behind them is Michael Francesconi for Biscara, the second of the Biscara cars, in 13th place, and Tobias Olsen for Ice Cold, the second Ice Cold Racing car, in 14th. And if you want to take over for the rest of the field, Josh?
With pleasure. Chris Kinsman finds himself in 15th place in that number 0 car, and directly behind him, Philip Koenig in the Stax Racing 37 car is 16th place. Joe Watts is down in 17th place, directly behind him. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not very good on my teams. I should have a spot guide up, really, but I don't. Roy Vizile, though, in the Blue Fox TR Motorsports is directly behind in 18th place. Then, row 10, it's Terence Grech in 19th position, directly followed by Christoph Lichtenstein in 20th place. And, well, I'm quite sure that, yep, that is MDR Motorsports, because it has it on the side pod. Ring Hoekstra 21st for CM Tech, and that is a decent result for him. He'll be hoping to get some places from that. Jarl Tyre in 22nd. And then it's Brett Metcalf in 23rd place for HM. Is that Deltec? It is Deltec. Is it Deltec or is it not Deltec? It's a Deltec. It is a Deltec, right. I keep getting confused, but it is a Deltec in 23rd. Then Jacob Pegg in 24th place there. And then 25th place is Till van der Brink in the Woods car. Then it's Adam Oscar, 26th in the other Deltec. Mike Quentin, 27th place. And that is the final car on grid.
Yeah, and they've had a bit of drama on the warm-up that whilst you've been doing that, Josh. Matt Richards in 7th place. He somehow lost it. I don't know what happened, but he went off at the second. Apparently he had some connection issues and a bit of internet trouble, and went off in the second of the Lesmos and got beached in the gravel trap, I noticed. He's returned to the pits now, though. He's going to be starting this race from the pit lane, so unfortunately for him, he's going to find himself all the way at the back once these cars get going, but at least that gives him a chance to avoid any of the potential carnage going down to the first chicane.
Yeah, Mike Quint just loading into his pit box now. I personally am going to pick, from where we're standing, Amos Masuli's a potential race winner here.
Nice, I like to see that. I think Lars Brugman's got something to prove from 5th place, and Delo Simičić, I think he's going to be very strong. I just feel Brugman might be able to come through today and get his first win of the season.
We're about to get underway, I think, because Quint's just in his pit box now.
Yep, there he goes. He just lines up onto the back of the grid. So all the drivers are set and ready then. The lights are turning red. The engines are rising. And here we go in Monza. It's a great start for Simičić. Not a very good one for Hoekstra though, and Muscat has got already past him into 2nd place. Simičić immediately takes the inside line towards the turn 1. He's going defensive very early. Let's see what happens into turn 1 as they all start to fan out and find their braking point. Simičić gets through, and it looks like so far it has been relatively clean. That's good to see to begin with. And Simičić leads coming out of the chicane then. Muscat's right in his tail, and so is Hoekstra as well. They've got a 3-car breakaway just ahead of Brugman and Masuli behind. So not too much movement at the front, although Muscat now is looking to the outside of Simičić as we go down towards the Della Roggia. Here we go into the chicane, and Simičić is just able to keep his line and not lose a position. But once again, Muscat on the offensive, looking to the inside now into the first Lesmo, and he's got past him straight away. And look at that, Simičić has lost another position as well, potentially a third to Lars Brugman into the second part of the Lesmos he has. So Simičić down from 1st to 4th in 2 corners. That is a real shame for him, but he's just going to have to try and get it all back together again. So Muscat leads the race now, Hoekstra right behind him, and he's really looking to try and pull out of the slipstream. You can really see it taking effect already. Down into Ascari, nearly got a chance at going past him, but just had to held back. But he got a good exit out of Ascari as well, and again Hoekstra now going to the inside of Muscat, already alongside him down towards the Parabolica. Can he get this move done? It's going to be who can break the latest. Of course, the brakes are still going to be a bit cold here, and that's good braking by Muscat round the outside to just dive into the corner first and hold on to position. So Muscat is going to come over the line and lead this first lap. What a great lap it has been for Muscat, going from 3rd to 1st.
Yeah, Muscat's had a fantastic start there. What a great move from him into Lesmo 1 as well to get past Lars Brugman, who's now on the chase back. The wheels under threat from Janej Simičić and that Hawkeye there, number 24, is going to find himself on the outside of the first turn. And if he can make this stick, it'll be something wonderful. Though I did notice there was a bit of drama for Philip Koenig on the first lap. He seemed to hit a bump in the road, and that Stax car did a backflip into the gravel.
Mason's going around in the first chicane, and I think someone else got caught up in that as well. Mason goes to the escape road, and he'll just try and rejoin, but that's so many positions lost. He was in 6th at the time, and now he's all the way down in 16th place, so that's a huge loss for Mason. And apparently Mason got tapped round by one of the Pescaras, so I can only assume that that was Eros Masuli, as Michael Francesconi was further back.
No, it was Francesconi.
Oh, it was. Sorry about that. So yeah, Francesconi.
Yeah, it was Francesconi who'd gone down the inside. Olsen, I think, clipped Francesconi, and Francesconi clipped Mason under acceleration. So it was a bit of a three-way, but it was a bit of a three-way incident. But got battle on here. De Vries is quick on Brugman, and he's gonna go for it down into Ascari there. And what a move by Sven to get through into 4th place.
Yeah, good move there by Sven de Vries. Lars Brugman just got a bit wide coming out of the second Lesmo there, and lost a bit of momentum. So Sven de Vries up into 4th from 6th place on the starting grid now. There's a bit of a gap between himself and Simičić out further in front, and Lars Brugman is still on Sven de Vries' tail, so pretty close between himself and de Vries and Masuli. And oh, who was that going off in the background? Boss has gone off. The Parabolica hits the wall on the outside, and he's just having to try and recover through the gravel, but I fear he's going to get bogged down here.
Oh, yeah, he took it!
gravel's hard to get out of, and that's surely him out of the race.
Oh, Muscat and Hoekstra for the lead.
Yeah, here we go. Hoekstra then down into turn 1 up the inside, and he gets the move done. So just used slipstream there and got the move done under braking. Very good move there by Hoekstra, and just kept his cool right at the right time.
Well, if you're going to chuck it anyway, chuck it down into the Retrophilia. You know, it's the best place. You're just coming down with massive speed, 6th gate at first. One of the best places you can look, but he's coming back is Jason Muscat. He's trying to have a go through Della Rossi here, but it's not going to work. He's got the Lesmos, then the run up to Ascari as well, which might help the Maltese here, but he has got to do some work if he's going to get past the Dutchman now.
Yeah, he's maybe just run a little bit wide coming out of the first Lesmo, but manages to hold on to it in the second Lesmo. But yeah, that was good by Hoekstra, certainly getting the move done. Looking further back as well, De Vries and Brugman are still close together. But is it going to be Muscat that's going to try and challenge it to Ascari? It's one of the more difficult overtaking points in the track, as the entry into the left-hander is much quicker than some of the slower chicanes in the first half of the track, and I see no movement there. So looking further back, I think there's been some movement. Yeah, we've got Gretsch and Rob Mason side by side down towards Ascari as well, and Gretsch has already got past Mason, so I think he's just lost a bit of momentum coming out of the Lesmo. Oh, there's a crash further back as well. Christopher Lichtenstein and Mike Quint have had a coming together coming out the second Lesmo, and both have lost a couple of positions but have recovered.
Oh, Muscat's just dropped down to 8th. I don't know how he's done that, but something happened to the ball. Oh, he spun it. He locked the backs up coming into the Parabolica. Maybe took too much speed, went straight into the barriers, and that has hurt him big time. He's down there. Then we got a big four-way battle going on for P3 as well. De Vries has been promoted. But we have Brugman, Mashuli, Strana. All there, Strana is chasing down, staring down the back of that. He's staring down the barrel lap and staring at the Pescara car directly where he wants his 5th place. He maybe even wants to go for top 3.
Yeah, it's all starting to hot up here, and now they've got a chance of a podium. Unfortunately, due to Muscat falling further behind after that spin, it did look like he just locked up his rear brakes, didn't it? So, unfortunate for him, maybe he's just gone a bit too aggressive on his brake bias, I don't know.
Oh, Hoekstra off! But it's only a minor excursion, and he has managed to keep it going. He's in the second Lesmo, but Simoncic is going to take full advantage of this. He's going to have a good run now, and he could probably start to close the gap on Wupke if he doesn't pick the pace back up. But this battle for 3rd still roaring.
Yeah, just going to see now down towards Ascari if anyone can get a good toe and try and make a move. It looks like they're all just a little bit too spread out for a move at the moment. So as we come down to Ascari, I think they're all just going to turn in and, yeah, keeping it all in position. Oh, De Vries has made a mistake though in the second part of Ascari, and that's given Brugman a good run. And down towards Parabolica now, Brugman already goes to the outside. De Vries is going defensive, but I think it's all in vain. Look at that, Brugman's already got past. So Lars Brugman moves back ahead of De Vries, and he's onto the podium now. We'll see if he can try and chase down Simoncic, who's about 2 seconds ahead of this group.
Yep, he's got some chasing to do as Lars Brugman in that Wouters car, but Sven De Vries behind, now under threat from Eros Mashili, who's barreling down the inside here. This looks like a game set match for the Pescara car before we've even got to the start-finish line, let alone the Retrophilia. And this is just pretty much going to be Mashuli's to take here, unless De Vries can mount some sort of comeback into the Retrophilia, but he's backed out of it before he's even tried. And he's conceded that to Mashuli, who locks the right rear, and it looks like the American could be on for a second attack.
Yeah, Mashuli certainly slid it into the first part of the Retrophilia, didn't he? But just kind of groups it all back up for the second half of the chicane, and De Vries is right behind him though, so we'll see down into the Della Roggia if Mashuli can hold on to this position, and he does just about. De Vries doesn't think about sticking it up the inside, he's just a little bit too far back, but he's still got a good run anyway towards the first Lesmo as well, but not able to find a way through. It's all about patience this game at the moment.
Eric Strana's got the perfect view of this, hasn't he, Sam? Because he's just staring down the sights of that Formula 3 car. He's thinking, if any one of these guys makes a mistake, I'm going to be there to snap the position up. In fact, I don't even want to wait to snap the position up. He's going for Sven De Vries.
Yeah, he's going up the inside already, so it down towards the Ascari. Oh, just has to pull back in though. Once he came out of that toe, he wasn't quite able to keep up the momentum, and De Vries has actually had a good run through Ascari himself, and suddenly, all of a sudden, he's looking right at the back of Eras Mashuli now, so he's going to try and recover that 4th position. He goes up the inside towards the Parabolica. Again, it's going to be about who can break the latest, and Mashuli turns in but gives De Vries plenty of room on the inside. They go side by side through the Parabolica onto the exit, and they're still side by side, and I think Sven De Vries has just about got it coming out the corner down the main straight, but it just goes defensive straight away because Mashuli's coming back around the outside.
Yeah, this is going to be a toe-to-toe nip and tuck race. He's going to be last of the late breakers into the Rettifilio here. Who's going to get it? There's nothing in between the two of them. Mashuli looks to have the advantageous line though, and it is the Italian who gets the place done. Sven De Vries, well, you can't really argue he did anything wrong there. He tried his best, and he really did push that overtake as hard as he could, but ultimately just could not keep up with the Pescara car.
No, it did just look like they didn't have
then
the
again, he is
speed.
on a second wind here.
He is, but not quite able to make a move, and Strana's actually quite close behind. I think there was some movement further back. Olsen moved up to P9 ahead of Masai Milinik, and Muscat is right behind as well. Look at Joe Watts also up the inside of Muscat. There's contact between the two, and Muscat goes around, so his day goes from bad to worse for Muscat in the Della Roggia. And he's just come out in front of Wesley Stefano as well. Maybe a bit of an unsafe rejoin there, and that's cost Stefano a couple of positions also.
Yeah, Muscat, I think, just didn't really I don't think he knew Watts was there, to be honest. Just the slightest contact, he came out worse. I think that was probably a racing incident in all fairness. And then, he just rejoins it, Stefano. That might have been a bit reckless from Muscat. As we're looking at P5 now, De Vries and Mashuli now side by side again. I told you Sven De Vries was on a second wind. Might not even want to wait until turn 1.
No, look at that, side by side. De Vries is trying the outside round Parabolica this time. See if he can make this one work. Mashuli's got the better run out the corner, but De Vries, I think, he's not even going to slot behind him. They're going to remain side by side, so they're just going to stick it out, wheel to wheel, all the way down the main straight.
He's squeezing him. He's squeezing him here. It's Mashuli, isn't he, down into turn 1?
He still wants him to have a good line, does he? And De Vries has gone wide into the corner, but gets the inside for the second part of the corner. And they're still side by side coming out. This is fantastic.
Yeah, a bit of contact between the two of them there, but ultimately he's trying to get through for now. But that's not going to stop Eros, is it? No, he's going to keep going. He's going to keep charging on Sven De Vries. Why not? He's got 4th place again.
Yeah, absolutely has. And De Vries has gone defensive once again towards the Della Roggia. So Mashuli is on his right. And this time around again, De Vries just manages to hold on to it defensively. Really good defensive work. And Strana can only look on and just bide his time. He's so close, but he just hasn't had an opportunity to get past either of these guys yet.
Yeah, this is a fantastic battle between these two. I don't mean to detract from it in any way, Sam. But look at Janish Simic. He's not that far away from Wupke Hoekstra anymore.
No, he's not. Of course, Hoekstra is coming up to some lap traffic already in the form of Christopher Lichtenstein and Theo Vandenbrink, who have both been in the wars early on in this race. And that's why they're so far behind. So we'll have to keep a watch out for that, because that gap is coming down about 2/10 every sector at the moment. If anything happens, but Mashuli right now is having to look in his mirrors because Strana's going up his inside towards the Parabolica. Just slots back in though, wasn't quite alongside enough to really get the braking effect, and he's going to try and use the slingshot out of the Parabolica, goes to the inside early. He's actually got a really good run here, but Mashuli's probably going to have the momentum around the outside, and they're going to go side by side once again, so this is going to be real exciting going towards turn 1.
Eric knows the inside's beneficial here. He's going to try and get it, but Eros is trying to squeeze him in, as he's rightfully entitled to do so. Eric just backs out. He's a very smart racer, Eric Strana. He knows when there's an overtake there, and he knows when to try and tell his bones a dummy when there's not. So he knows what he's doing, Eric Strana, and you can tell by just the sensibility of just not going for the move. He stays 6th, and Eric Strana still chases Mashuli, chases De Vries. But this Simic-Hoekstra battle getting closer by the second, and although Theo van der Brink's there, he's got to get out of the way of Simic, which he does. I'd say there's only a second between these two, and let's not forget they're all going to make a pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's not going to be too far away either. And Van der Brink's gone off. He's in last at the moment, so he's gone off the track on the outside of the Lesmo. I think that was the first Lesmo. He's gone off, so he'll rejoin and hopefully be okay it's just spread out a little bit between the two leaders again now. Simic is a second behind after battling through that lap traffic, so he probably had a little bit more of an issue than Hoekstra did getting past one of the two lap cars anyway. So that means that Hoekstra can breathe a little easier. But of course, he's still got to be on his toes because Simic is a very fast driver, as is all these guys at the front, and you can't really make a mistake anywhere around here.
No, you can't afford mistakes, especially a track that's so reliant on exits of corners for your top speed. And Wupke cannot flinch now in these next couple of laps until he makes his stop. So if he does, he'll find Journish even closer than he is now.
Yeah, he will. It's going to be interesting what happens. It was a very mixed bag as we look back at P12 here because Rob Mason and Roy Vasile are battling it out through the Parabolica. And Mason's just ahead of Vasile right now. I think he got up the inside of him. Yes, he did. And just overtook him into the Parabolica. But now he's having to think about what's going on behind because Vasile is coming back. He goes and jinks out to the left as we go down towards the first chicane. They're going to be side by side once again. Mason has actually broke quite early here. And, well, Vasile's through. And that's position gained back to Roy.
Yep, well done to Roy to get it through on Rob. I mean, he braked late enough, he knew what he was doing. Didn't really go for anything reckless. Rob did brake quite early, just maybe wanted to be safe in that particular scenario. Can't really blame him, he did brake early, and well, sometimes you do that. Rajal goes into 12th place though, and next up for him is Maciej Mlinek, who's quite a way ahead in 11th though. Although Mlinek and Watts could be a potential battle if Maciej can catch up, because he is quick. But at this present moment, there's not really room for... Oh, well, speaking of mistakes, Lars Brugman's got off big time.
Unbelievable. What a big shunt that is. So he was just coming down into a Scari and just lost it on the curb and hit the inside wall and bounced across the track. Fortunately, didn't hit anyone. And he's got bogged down in the gravel here. He gets the car back onto the track and he's just about going to rejoin in... clearish there. He didn't have too many issues with other drivers, but it's going to be passed by both Watts and Mlinek.
Well, speaking of Maciej, he's going for Watts.
Yeah, suddenly these guys have really closed up, haven't they? Watts is...
Oh, that was close.
Yeah, no, a bit of contact between the two maybe, but Mlinek's through anyway. He went to the outside of Watts and closed down the straight. Yes, as Olsen pits in then. So he's the first guy to pit in this race, and I think Brugman's joining him. I don't blame him after that spin and contact with the wall. He might have to get rid of those flat spots on the tyres now.
Yeah, Olsen in. He is there. I think this might be the start of the pit window, actually, because Brugman in, although, again, with the incident he had, I can't blame him for trying to want to get more life out of the tyres. Olsen and Brugman both in. Is this potentially the start of the pit window at lap 9 of 24? If the tyres can last the remaining race distance, then yes, but if not, then the drivers might want to stay out until lap 12 or 13.
Yeah, you'd probably want to try and do a mirrored race as much as possible, but I think they could probably get away with this. As it looks like Rob Mason again is ahead of Vasile, but going into Della Roggia, Vasile's back up the inside and just a bit too close to call between the two, but Rob Mason manages to hold it around the outside very well, and Stefano is now looking at the inside of Vasile into the Lesmo here, and just about leaves Vasile enough room, touches the grass on the outside, and they're still side by side into the second part of the Lesmo. And Stefano comes out of it, so he's up to 11th.
Yeah, look at where Roy is, though. Look at this. He could have a potential run back for 11th. Yeah, but swear, look, Wesley going hyper defensive. Couldn't go more defensive if he tried, but that's going to stop Roy from having a look. We saw what he did to Rob before, but look at this. Simic and Wupke even closer than before, and I think Journey's got the toe.
Oh. Stefano's gone off the track and lost the position, but up front it's getting mighty close once again. Only 0.4 of a second between Hoekstra and Simic right now as we go into lap 10. So pretty close between the two. Simic is going to get a bit of a tow, but whether he can get enough to start to challenge Hoekstra, I'm not too sure. As we run down to the second chicane, they're just a little bit too far apart. But it's definitely getting closer, isn't it? So this battle for the lead is hotting up. Whether one of the two will pit soon, I don't know. But very interested to see.
Yep, Stefano unsurprisingly comes in. And yeah, Simic and Wupke, with the distance between them, Journish will not be able to react if Wupke comes in unless he can tell beforehand that he's coming in. And he needs to react as soon as he can, really, because he wants to stay with Wupke as race leader, and he wants to come out near him, because that's very similar on pace as we've seen. And he wants someone to be able to draft us as well. So you've got the likes of De Vries and Mashuli behind who'll be able to maybe leapfrog the likes of Wupke and Jernish. With them two being at the front, you'd expect them to set the pit window pace, but they're so close to each other. It relies on the likes of De Vries, Mashuli, Strana, Francesconi, Kinsman behind.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? It's going to be interesting to see who manages to blink first, as the gap between the top two just opens out a little bit, back up to 0.6 of a second now, as they come round the parabolica, and neither peels into the pits. And Sven de Vries following them about 6 seconds behind, and he doesn't pit either. So none of these guys feeling like it's time to pit just yet. They're probably looking for maybe a lap or two more before they make their one and only compulsory pit stop of this race. And,
I'd expect that at least try to do 50% race distance before they come in on the tyres, so they know they can do that at the very minimum. But, you know, if there's a mandatory pit stop, you'd expect the tyres can do that at the bare minimum, or at least the whole race perhaps. But cars further down might choose the time to pit sooner. I'll keep an eye on that.
Yep. Do that, Josh. That'll be fantastic stuff. So it just seems to have gone a little bit quiet here as well, I've noticed. A few of the guys are spread out a little bit. Maybe that's due to tyre grippers. Joe Watts misses the first chicane and he goes barreling through some of the cones there and skips through the advertisement boards and rejoins the track. And Rob Mason's going to be right on his tail here. So will he be able to get the move done through Curva Grande? Rob Mason goes to the outside of Watts. And they're going to be side by side going down towards the second chicane, and Mason's actually already through, so good effort by Mason to take that opportunity when it arrived, and he's back up into 9th place now. So a real climb for him since starting much further down after that first lap anyway. Oh, and look at this, all of a sudden Simic is on right at the back of Hoster, isn't he?
He's right there. This could get very spicy very quickly. Call Ainsley Harriet. It's going to get really hot up in here. But, well, okay, that had to be done. But, yeah, Sven de Vries behind. Maybe now he's going to find the time to jump if he knows. In fact, he is jumping. He's jumping for joy.
He certainly is. It's all tense now because Simic goes to the inside of Hoster, go towards turn 1, and look how late Simic is on the brakes. Just about controlling the car as he got the speed down, and Simic retakes the lead of this race at the halfway point then, but Hoster is coming back and into Curva Grande. He's having a look around the outside. He's going to have to try and get a good run through this corner, get slipstream as well, and look at that, Simic goes defensive straight away and then actually moves back to the right hand side of the track, so probably felt that there wasn't actually any immediate threat coming into that corner, but Hoster is now down second.
Yeah, Wupke's been demoted there. Eric Strana came in with Sven de Vries there. And Joe Watson as well, I see from the live timing. Personally, I suspect Wupke will choose now, this lap to pit, because he's just been overtaken. He can't really lose much more.
No, he can't. And yeah, it might be the best time to try and get a pit in. Maybe get a good lap on the outlap as well. And you never know, he might be back in the lead by the time it all shakes out. But he's still trying. Simic is only just ahead of him. And Hoster's trying everything that he can to stick with the driver in front of him. The gap's moved out a little bit, but it's still pretty close between the two of them as they come down towards the parabolica. It's going to be interesting to see if either peel off right now, or maybe both will, and we might have a race in the pits as well.
Oh, Jernish is holding the inside. I think he's trying to fake him out. He has faked him out, but Wupke's jumped anyway. I thought he might.
There we go then. So Hoekstra pits. It's going to be vital as to where Hoekstra comes back out onto the track, isn't it? If he gets into any kind of traffic, then that'll be his outlap ruined.
Yeah, but now Jernish has got older tyres. Well, he will have newer tyres actually than Wupke, but he'll be running on older tyres, so maybe he'll make the time back on. Aerosmith Shuley's coming to second in all this. Michael Francesconi third. It is a Pescara 2-3. Wupke's probably going to come out fourth as Chris Kinsman comes in from fifth.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Further developments as well. Sven de Vries has just spun off in Ascari and lost a whole ton of time and positions as well. So big implications for the guy who was in third place before these pit stops, as Hoekstra just come through the first couple of corners and he's ahead of Rob Mason by quite a while in fourth place at the moment. and got a good clear track ahead of him as well. So it's actually worked out pretty well for him.
It's worked out quite well indeed, and, well, Sven Spain has put him in 7th now, which isn't terrible, but it's not where he'll want to be. And, well, with Pescara pretty much holding up 2nd and 3rd, it's going to be quite a run for Wilkie Hoaxer to get back, but they both have to pit.
Yeah, they certainly do, and only time will tell when that's going to happen, but surely soon enough, of course, these drivers will be fuel limited as well. They will have decided what they were going to do earlier on before the race began when they put the fuel into the car, so that's going to be interesting to see. Also, I'm just looking further down the grid to see if anyone's having a move and anyone else. Muscat and Mlinek are batting it out for 11th place. They're side by side going towards the De La Roggia chicane. Mlinek just holds on to 11th place right there as Muscat slots back in behind him. Didn't quite have it under braking to get further enough alongside.
Here comes Francisco into the pits. I told you one of the Pescara cars might jump soon because it was about the time, but it is the car behind. Eros is going to try and stay out and extend his lead over Whoopie Hoaxer for a little longer. And speaking of that Cookie car, I think Whoopie has already been in, so he doesn't have to worry about that now, but Simincic does.
Yeah, he certainly does. Both of them continue on. So Francesconi coming out of the pits, and it's feels like a long one coming out, but it's actually quite a short pit lane here. And Rob Mason, who was behind him, actually comes into the pits himself. So Francesconi has also got quite a free track around him, so that's going to be perfect for him to try and do a decent couple of laps. Strana is another 10 or so seconds further down the field. Rob Mason, who's also still in the pits, will be coming back out around Lars Brugman, who of course is recovering from his earlier incident that happened in Ascari as well. So Ascari's definitely bit a few of these drivers today so far.
It has not helped these drivers. I mean, Rob Mason's come out in the middle of a Muscat Mlinek battle. That's not where he wanted to come out, but they've all survived. And Muscat still duking out for P10 in front of Mason, who's there thinking, I'm going to have a hang of this if anyone makes a mistake. But I quite question is when is Simic going to pick, because he stayed out last lap. If he stays out this lap, those tyres will be getting older and older, but I think he's chosen his moment.
Yep, Simic is into the pit, so will Mashuli follow him? And where are Simic and Hoaxer are going to come out once all of this shakes down? No, so Mashuli will take the lead of this race and will lead it for at least a lap anyway. Simic is in the pits, and he's actually got one of the later pits, the pit boxes, so it's not going to be much of a run for him to leave the pits to get back up to racing speed. And Hoaxer is coming around the parabolic, around the exit right now, and Simic is... Oh, wow.
Now, that makes me think whether he's got a penalty for pit lane speeding.
He's boxed. We had this with Lars Brugman in the first race at Silverstone, didn't we?
Like collision noises. I'm going to check that out, but...
Host. Yeah, he's just sat there in the moment.
Vizile's out! That's why. What's happened to Roy is that he's come round, and, well, speaking of corners, it's out of Ascari, and he's lost his rear left.
Oh, wow, yeah, absolutely right. There's certainly no room for mistakes down in Ascari, is it? That was a huge crash for Vizile, and hopefully...
Hoaxer has lost out to Brugman now.
Yeah, so that's terrible for Hoaxer. Like I said, we did see that in the first race at Silverstone to Lars Brugman, and I can only assume that maybe he didn't set the right fuel or didn't change his tyres or something in that first pit stop, because that just looked like another pit stop that he was in for. Very weird.
Yeah, very sort of weird incident, but yeah, shame if Vigile's out, and then I'm still in shock as to why Wookie pitted from there. We'll have to ask him about this afterwards. But yeah, Eros Mashuli, I think no, he's still not pitted.
No.
He is extending this stint for as long as he can, and I don't think it's going to help him because Janis Simicic right now is on fresher rubber.
He certainly is, and he's pounding round. He's got a really clean track all to himself. He's looking at no one in both ahead and in his mirrors in terms of positions in the field. So really good time to be Janis Simicic right now. And of course, his closest rival, Hoekstra is all the way back down in 9th place now, and nearly a full second off the lead and about 40 seconds off Simičić. So that was a really costly pit stop for him and a huge blow. But of course, he can still come back from this. And it is the second race to think about as well, so not all lost for him in terms of his action for today. But I am really interested as to when Mashuli's going to pit here, because it's going to be a bit of a shorter pit stop if it is. And, well, where is he going to come out as well? It's probably going to be around his teammate, so we could have 2 Pescaras on the podium at the end of all this.
You know what? I've got a funny feeling that Eric Strauner is cutting the gap down to Michael Francesconi, so we might not.
Yeah, let's have a look at the lap times. I think you're right, actually. It's only a few tenths in it, but that's enough to certainly close the gap between the two. Strauner's struggling with a bit of lap traffic at the moment, though, so this might not be the best lap for him as he tries to get past Theo van den Brink.
He puts the horn on. He's not desperate to get through.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's off! Well, as I said, desperate to get through, but maybe too desperate. He's made a trip up in the ensuing thing, and then the horn goes on again. Now it's Sven de Vries thinking, oh, I like the look of this.
Yes, Masciuli now pits from the lead, so finally the Pescara driver comes into the pits. And, well, surely Simičić is going to retake the lead because he was only 16 seconds behind. Yeah, there goes Simičić down the straight now, so he will reclaim the lead that he had before this round of pit stops. And Masciuli is leaving the pits, and actually not that far behind Simičić, probably going to be around 8 to 10 seconds by the time it all shakes out, but a solid second for Masciuli there, so really good effort by him, and he's certainly been able to just carve his way through the field quietly since the start of the race and pick up a few positions. So who's that? Oh, it's Simičić!
Think of the devil, he's blown it!
Unbelievable. I can't believe what we're seeing here. He's blown an engine. Has he got his cooling wrong or something? He had the race all to himself.
He's actually coming out of the outside of the Rettifilio. It just went. Now Jernic is blown up. That's giving Eros Masciuli the lead again. How has that happened? Must have just messed his cooling up or something. But a double downshift says Ben Willis, but that means he must have blown it going into the Rettifilio. And I didn't notice any corners coming through the first turn.
That is devastating for Simičić there. Unbelievable. Such a simple mistake to make as well. And that's really going to hurt him. A huge blow because he had this race in the bag, let's be fair. He was that far ahead of the guys around him. But now that means that, well, it's a Pescara 1-2 up front. Yep. So they must be delighted with this, especially considering where Michael Francesconi starts on the grid as well. I bet they did not see this one coming.
Well, that's it. Pescara 1-2. They'll be pleased with that. The signature Dolphin mascot liveried cars, those Pescaras, and well, Eros and Michael, both incredibly talented drivers, and you know, these two, they're just now they're in first and second. Now they are there and leading this race. But then again, don't discount Strauner if Francesconi trips up, say, through Ascari.
Yeah. So we look back further in the field, there is still action going on throughout, and Rob Mason again is in the thick of it. He's got Masai Mlinik just ahead of him. P9 and 10 this one is as they go down towards Parabolica, and Mason's just keeping a close eye on Mlinik right behind him under his wing, just picking up any kind of drag he can, and Mlinik's actually had a pretty decent exit outside the Parabolica there, so he's gained a little bit coming towards the line. Rob Mason will have to try and make that back up again as we go down towards turn 1 between the two of them. I think it's just a bit too far between the two at the moment, as well, Simičić has gone back to pits. He's definitely retired now, and that's well, how many is that? That's a good 9 retirements we've had so far today, so a really big number of cars leaving this race due to one reason or another, and that means that we've only got 18 cars left on track.
Yeah, Greg's actually trying to rejoin. They might find the number goes up. The attrition rate is real.
It certainly is, and well, this could be an easy track to break a car on, as we've seen here today. As simple as a double downshift. That is, I've done that before in the past, and well, it's heart-wrenching to see that is what the cause of the engine issue was for Nate Simoncic, but I'm sure he'll be back for race 2 and trying hard to gain some points back that he's lost here in race 1.
I don't doubt for a minute that he will be. He should be back, and I wouldn't put it past him to take that race 1 win if he gets a good enough start, because, well, we've seen how quick he is, and well, Eric Strana is a quick driver in his own right, but even he's having trouble catching Michael Francesconi with 5 to go, and, well, I think it's probably therefore worth looking down the rest of the field, see if we can find any battles, such as Matthew Manick versus Rob Mason for P9.
Yep, this battle continues as it did a lap ago, and Rob Mason has had a bit of a better exit out of the Parabolica this time. Not too far behind Linick. Linick's not decided where he's going to go yet in terms of his defensive approach into turn 1 as Rob Mason gets closer and closer and closer, and he's right on the rear wing now. Is he going to look? He has a little bit of a peek into turn 1, but thinks better of it as really a dive bomb wasn't on there for Mason. He's just going to try and keep it all together as they go towards Curva Grande, and Mason is still right there picking up the toe all the time and really benefiting from it as he gets closer once again, and this time around Linick has to go defensive and Mason is going to try and go around his outside. They're really close, aren't they, in the braking zone, but actually really good entry by Linick there and picked up some good speed. Mason was very fair as well, and Linick holds on to the position.
Yeah, fair play to Matty there to get through and hold it. He is doing a good job of that position holding, and there really is no problem with going for a move if you know you're going to go for it and the space there. It's just when you can get a bit reckless if there's not the space, but Matty knew what he was doing. Fair play to him for that. And yeah, coming up to the end of this race, it's hard to look like to pass the likes of the top leaders, but I say that, but then again, Sven de Vries and Eric Strana have found themselves embroiled in the battle. We could just have the final step of the podium. Not sure, Sam.
Yeah, unbelievable here after the issues that de Vries had earlier on. He's recovering well, and here we go to the inside of Strana, then down towards Del Rettifilio. Got that turn completely wrong, but de Vries under braking is far greater between the two. Takes the position from Strana and back up into the podium position. So did well all the way down into about 9th place after that spin in Ascari, but gets the position back, although Strana is looking back at him as well, and it's going to try and go to the outside here as they go down towards Della Roggia, as Strana is just not quite alongside enough. It really is quite hard to overtake around the outside there, so no surprises that de Vries managed to hold on to that position. And I'm sure these two will continue to battle on, but de Vries certainly had a good recovery.
He did, yeah. Sven was just there when he managed to recover from that well. Strana, he tried to go for it, but it didn't work out. He thought he could, surely, and it didn't quite work out for him. And Tobias Olsen gets a bit slidey, and he's falling into the clutches of Lars Brooklyn with the P6 mine, so it's not all going ice cold, whereas Jerry Simoncic has formally left the session.
Yep, so maybe he's going for a little bit of a cool off, maybe a bit more practice. I don't know, he doesn't need the practice, so does he? But I'm sure it doesn't happen. Oh, this huge contact!
Oh, God, Lord, that is big! That is big!
Whoa, de Vries and Strana into each other down the straight towards Parabolica, coming out of Ascari, and into the wall goes both of them. But somehow,
wow! Okay, that is a bizarre one. Eric Strana, they both came out of Ascari. Strana went for the inside. De Vries, I think, thought similarly. Well, actually, Strana gave it a bit of a Scandinavian flick. He went right, realised it couldn't work, went left, and he cut the back with de Vries.
Yeah, I think he just didn't quite realise how close he was to the back of de Vries there.
That is very, very rare mistake from Eric Strana. It's not every day you see him do that. It's such an easy thing to do as well.
It really is. There's just behind them Lars Brookman and Tobias Olsen are side by side here for 6th and 7th place as well. And Brookman holds on to 6th, I think it was. I think he was holding on to the position there. No, actually he was taking it. Sorry, that's me. Guess it completely wrong. Olsen was in 6th and Lars Brookman gets past him, but Olsen's not finished yet. Ever the fighter. He looks around the outside of Curva Grande and down to Della Roggia. He's going to look back at the inside of Brookman, and he's actually got his car perfectly placed here. But look at Brookman holding his own, and it's really close between the two. Oh, there's a bit of contact as well as Olsen actually gets the position back into the Lesmo. And wow, that was close between the two. I thought we were going to have them both spearing off to the inside then, but Olsen gets that position.
Brookman has a decent driver out of Lesmore too. If he can be brave and if he can get the right enough toe, he can make it work going into Ascari, but I don't think he will personally, though he is looking for it. I think he fancies this, you know, Sam. He's going around the outside. He breaks late-ish and he's, well, he does fancy it, but it's just going to give Olsen the run at the Parabolica.
It is. We're going to have to see if Olsen gets a good exit. That's actually not too bad at all. So Olsen's right on the tail of Lars Brookman right now. This battle continues on. Great racing between the two of them.
Oh.
And Olsen's gone to the inside towards Parabolica. He breaks so late into the corner as well. Look at that, nearly drifted around the corner. And Brookman gave him a lot of room. And he slots in behind Olsen now. But again, it's going to be a battle between the two of them because Brookman's got the slipstream down towards turn 1.
Yeah, to me, it's Olsen actually trying to sell Brookman a dummy into the Parabolica. Brookman was going right, then Olsen left, thought, no, I'm going down the inside. He went for it, and that was a great manoeuvre to do that, but unfortunately for Tobias, it's going to be Lars who gets the upper hand here, though I would not expect this battle to stop anytime soon, given how close they are. Hell, I'd even put it down into the De La Roggia that Olsen's going to go for it.
It certainly looks like it. It's so quick down the straight in that slipstream, and again they're side by side. This is fantastic. Whoa, also where is he going? There's nearly contact between the two of them, and they're side by side into the Roggia, and Brookman just about manages to hold it round the outside, gets a great exit in the second part of the corner and holds on to the position there. But Olsen again continuing to attack. Look at Lars Brookman nearly spirited inside the wall, go through the Lesbo. They're both on the ragged edge, and this is fantastic to watch.
They're taking a bit of a touring car mentality. Yeah, wheels barging a bit, you know, they're giving each other no quarter of Brookman and Olsen. Look at that, even more contact between the two of them. They're treating them like the tin tops of their own wheel. This is absolutely mad stuff for these two. But somehow they're making it work, and Olsen into Ascari still won't seat. Look at him, he's just fighting his free life out. And somehow I thought that might happen. I thought there might be an incident. And unfortunately, it is Olsen who gets the detrimental effect of that. But you can't say that was a good battle until that point. You can't say that wasn't a good battle until then.
Yeah, it's a shame the battle had to end that way, but Hoekstra gains a position from the two of them, so Lars Brookman actually doesn't gain anything in the end, and Olsen, he's all the way back into 11th, but looks like he's got a bit of damage, but nothing too big, as Eros Pashuli right now is going through the Curva Grande on his final lap of the race, and so can he and his teammate Francesconi bring this home for a Pescara 1-2. It'll be the first 1-2 that we have in WCS as well, so it'll be quite one to go down in the history books basically. And what a drive it's been by both these drivers as well. They certainly weren't my picks at the start of the race, but they've proved me wrong, and they've looked really quite solid just coming through without any fireworks really, and getting past everyone either in the pits or on the track. Great drive by both of them with about half a lap left to go.
I can't help but be a little bit smug because I picked Mashuli for the win.
You did, Josh.
Fair play to Eros. He took full advantage of Jernish's mistake and, well, not mistake, but catastrophic engine failure. Brett Metcalf's has gone as well out of interest. He's had engine failure too. But yeah, Eros took advantage. He didn't really let go. He must have made the pit stop at the right time. And as the Pescara driver comes around the Parabolica, it's going to be an interesting little...
what's going on?
Well, he's slowing.
Are they going to go for a photo
finish? No, what they're doing. They're doing a photo finish. Yeah. This is clever.
Surely.
Well, you got us there. You got us there, Eros.
I thought for a second there that he was going to run out of fuel, but here comes the two drivers, Mashuli and Francesconi, nearly side by side across the line. Only 2/10 in between the two, and Mashuli wins race 1 here in Monza, and his teammate Francesconi makes it a Pescara 1-2 at that home track. What a way for Italy to celebrate. That is perfect for the two of them. You couldn't have wrote it really. That's a fantastic result for the team and drivers. Sven de Vries comes home in 3rd for Satellite Racing, with Eric Strana for Ice Cold in his first race here in WCS, doing an excellent job in 4th place. Chris Kingsman, we didn't really talk about him that much, but he's done an incredible job, absolutely solid through the race, and just came through quietly but surely, passing whilst other people were making mistakes. So really good effort by Kingsman. Hoekstra is in 6th with Lars Brookman in 7th, and Masai Mlinik takes 8th with Rob Mason just behind him. by about a couple of seconds in the end after they were battling earlier. Jason Muscat rounds out the top 10, benefiting really from Tobias Olsen, who had some damage apparently at the end and actually retired from the race, so he dropped back quite a way. Wesley Stefano finished in 11th place, but EJ Engineering with his teammate Joe Watts right behind him in 12th. Philip Koenig was in 13th for Stax Racing, and Jacob Pegg is still out on track. He will come home in 14th place for Satellite Racing, the second of the Satellite cars, and then he will be the final guy to cross the line, of course, because Theo Vandenbrink has already finished a lap down, along with Rennick Hoekstra and Tobias Olsen. Even though he retired, he'll actually pick up 15th place there, as he did start the final lap of the race. So as Jacob Pegg comes around the final couple of corners, what an enthralling race that was. And well, it's the Italian dream for Masciuli and Francesconi right now. That was something incredible. You've certainly outdone yourself there, Josh, picking that one. Certainly wouldn't have been my pick, picking Masciuli. So hats off to you, and hats off to Masciuli as well.
You know what it is? I come to this place, I do one commentary now, and I'm already hijacking the picks.
I think you just got to become like the Mystic Meg of WCS, haven't you? With those kind of
Maybe.
talents.
If there's enough money in it, maybe. But I have to say, very impressed by Chris Kinsman. That much I will say. Very impressed by Kinsman.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of ignored him in that first race. I don't really remember mentioning him at all, but well, throughout the whole time, I didn't see him put a wheel wrong. There wasn't really too much to commentate on him. It's definitely nothing in a bad way, that's for sure. So a good drive by him, and that'll be a big confidence booster as well for Kingsman. And I'm sure now he'll try to emulate something like that in the second race, as we'll get the reverse grid number. I'm not entirely sure what the numbers are. I've forgotten from 2 weeks ago. I'm sure our cameraman extraordinaire Ben Willis will remind us, and he reminds me down the mic that it's 6 to 10.
I was about to say, do you think it's time to wait for the race grid and open the cold one? Well, this is going to be interesting. I mean, with that race, I'm going to be interested to see against Paul now, because awesome. I don't think Jamie Simmons is very happy though.
Well, yeah, he's certainly not. I think he's having a bit of a laugh though, isn't he? But I'm sure there's a little bit of anger behind that as well. I'd be frustrated if I was leading a race like that and it all went wrong. Because when does that ever happen?
I mean, I'm seeing that Joe Watt says his brakes went, so these cars more fragile than I anticipated, must be said.
Yeah.
But it is Monza.
In terms of their apparent damage from hitting the wall and stuff, it doesn't look too bad, does it? We've seen a few guys bounce off the wall today and got away without losing a wheel or a wing or anything. But wow, I'd hate to double downshift, especially if you've got a paddle which doesn't click anymore, like I've had in the past. It makes double downshifting quite easy thing to do, and well, that'd be a gutting way to end the race, as Timočić found out earlier on. But of course, he'll have race 2 to try and recover from that as well.
Interesting. Jenny Timočić says he didn't double downshift. He was really careful on the reps. So I think the engine legitimately went.
Ah.
So,
is it random? Surely it's not random, is it?
No, it can't be random, but maybe he just pushed the engine too hard.
Yeah.
And a couple of drivers complained of left rear brake failures, but then again, this is Monza, so you might expect that.
Yep. And also, just to confirm another major event that first race, it looks like Wupke Hoekstra was caught speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah, the pit limiter didn't work. I thought he was. Must be said with his second stop, I thought he was.
So that's why he finished much further down than he was. He could have actually been on for the win there, couldn't he? Because, of course, he was battling with Timočić right up until those pit stops. And, of course, we know what happened to Timočić afterwards. So potentially that was another win out the window for him.
Yep, another potential win out the window. And I guess we have to wait till warm-up to find out what the reverse grid number is going to be. These drivers just having a bit of a chat after the race, of course. And just getting each other's, debrief out the session. Then we're going to go on a race 2.
Yeah, it's always good to just have a little bit of a break. That race went so quickly though, I found there, and again that was all thanks to all the action that we saw. It was pretty much an overtake, well, at least one overtake every lap. There was somewhere to look and a battle all the way through the field. It was really exciting things to see. So the drivers now are all comparing uh, what issues that they had during that race. So it looks like for a lot of them, this is still a bit of a learning curve, which is fair enough considering this is a new mod and it's only the second time that we've raced it now.
Yeah, I mean, not the easiest cars to drive in the world in terms of keeping them going, these F3s, but, you know, to get used to, definitely. But I'm sure the drivers have learned from this. They're going to adjust setups accordingly for race 2, and it's a shorter distance. No need to make a mandatory stop, so more of a sprint.
Yep, it's going to be pretty much wherever you start, you just got to deal with it and go for it from there. And no pit stops to help any of these drivers out, as you just said. And I like that. I like a race where it doesn't get broken up by pit stops, and we're just going to see drivers having to battle their way through and try and make up or not lose any positions. Of course, we saw great battles in Silverstone last time out in race 2 with Rob Mason starting up near the front of the grid, and he did so well to hang on to it for so long, and really interesting drive by him. And I'm sure we may have something similar here against Zay. I'm just waiting for the number at the moment. I really want to find out who's on pole position.
Yeah, I want to find out who's on pole as well. I can't wait. We'll restart the service so we can find out, I think.
Yep, it looks like everything's just been reset. Unfortunately, I've misplaced the results of race 1, so I may not know. I may not know exactly where everyone is, but I'll try and do my best to remember. Of
Yeah,
course, we'll find out once it goes to the wall of lap, won't it?
yeah, we'll find out soon. Oh, well, a little bit of a break until the race, but we're in warm-up.
Yep, so we've gone back to warm up now. There's 10 minutes on the clock. I assume we're going to have all of those 10 minutes. Not entirely sure. So we just had a few minutes break there before the server got reset, and all the cars now are coming back out on track. So a few drivers probably testing out a few changes to their setup after the first race, and whether it's brakes or whether it's cooling, who knows what it's going to be. With only 12 laps this second race as well, so that means that there's going to be a lot less time to have issues with brakes, and maybe some of the drivers could even go more aggressive in terms of their setup.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I had the full 10 minutes of warm-up, because I think by now, race 2 is supposed to have started, but obviously a couple of slight delays. But hey, it's such is life. Sometimes things don't go to schedule.
A man on the clock, are you Josh right now?
Yeah, I have a life.
Oh, absolutely, but well, it's not a bad life when you can come along to an evening's worth of entertainment here at Monza with some F3 action. And what action it was in the first race as well. I'd say that's not a bad evening.
Yeah, it's not a bad evening. You can have worse evenings. You can have considerably worse evenings.
Yeah,
And this is pretty damn good evening.
I could think of a few worse evenings, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I like life in general in the world of racing is good.
Yes,
I
and of
don't know
course.
I don't know what it is about it, to the whole commentary thing. It just allows us just to, I don't know, it's almost to get away from actual reality, but it's fun. You get to call interesting races, and it's just something awesome that people should try.
Absolutely, and well, a league like this isn't a bad idea because there's nothing better than being able to commentate on a race where the race nearly commentates itself because there's that much action going on. It always makes it 10 times easier, doesn't it, when you've got something to talk about and engage about every single lap rather than some kind of procession, which some series can suffer from. in real life and in sim racing.
Yeah, I mean, that one race, that was one of the few races I've commentated on where there was always something to talk about. Usually there's always a little period where there's nothing, but that race there was always something, and I don't usually get that, and it's nice that I did because I'm at my best when there's something going on.
Yeah, I think everyone's probably the same, Josh.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's different. There's nothing going on. It's hard to commentate.
Yeah. No, it's as long as you've got something to talk about, that's the best thing, isn't it? As so the drivers re-entering the session right now, and what did you make of that first race format then, Josh? What did you think of it as a guy that's come in and seen this for the first time?
I think it was a cracking first race. I think the race length, being double what the second is, it's a sort of preview for the second after the first lot of pit stops, but we have a reverse grid, don't so that's going to come into play as well. It's a shorter format though, and race 2 is always different to race 1 whenever you have multiple races in anything, regardless of length. It's just a fact that you will always have different strategies coming into a shorter race or a longer race. That is just existence. It exists as a hard and fast rule that race 2 is always that.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, actually. That's generally how it is. And then, of course, because the two races are so close together as well, people haven't had time to forget about what's just happened either. Sometimes, in the real world, you get a night's sleep between race 1 and race 2, and, you can compose yourself and everything. But I think in race 2, I think we're going to see some guys who really want to try and recover or settle the score from race 1 and make amends, because there's quite a few retirements in race 1, and it's just showing that these cars are very hard to control and definitely not the easiest to drive, because even the best of them were having some kind of mistake there in race 1, whether it was a race ending one or not was dependent on each driver, but certainly there was only a few that didn't make any apparent mistakes.
Yeah, only a couple didn't. It's easy trying to make a mistake on Monza because it's so deceptively simple, yet at the same time so difficult, and we're still waiting for the race grid number, but when it comes I'm sure we'll know exactly who is going to end up on pole position for this race 2 at Monza. Just 12 laps, remember? So, really not that long.
No, not at all. That's all I'm waiting for right now, is just a reverse grid. What are they doing? Is it that hard to pull a name out the hat? I don't know. I don't know what the procedure is, but I thought you just have like a set of numbers and you just pull them all out and see what comes up at the end. But whoever's doing it is certainly leaving us in suspense right now as we wait to see. And there's only 4 minutes of this warm-up left to go. So really going to be interesting in terms of what happens.
Well, let's just... Oh, apparently, it's always 10. Well, there you go then. That solves that problem.
Well, we just sat here and commentated on something that was wrong for the last 10 minutes. So sorry for everyone that's watching this right now. They've probably been shouting at their screens like, why are these commentators so stupid?
Yeah, well, it's a rigged system. That's what it is, says Wookie Hoekstra. Well. There you go. So we know it's going to be 10th, but who is 10th?
That was Jason Muscat, wasn't it? Jason Muscat was in 10th place.
Second lease of life for the Maltese.
So that's the 3 M's in the front, isn't it? Muscat, Mason, and Blinick. There you go. It's a lucky day if you've got a last name beginning with M. Go do the lottery.
First name beginning with M in Matt Richards, but he's not had a very lucky day, has he?
No, not at all. Not at all. I didn't really see what happened to him after. I think he got caught up in an incident, didn't he, after that issue during warm-up as well. So certainly not a good day for him. But he's got a second race to try and turn his luck around, and I'm sure he'll just be hoping that he can get through the warm-up lap this time.
Yeah, he'll want to get through the warm-up and want to get this race started proper. And Matt Richards will want a good race too. 2 minutes and 23 till we start at mine, so still a short while for it to reacclimatise, but we're going to have about 20 minutes of racing after that.
Yeah. So only a couple of minutes left to go now as the drivers come around. I'm just trying to recall everyone and their starting positions. I can't remember who finished in 6th place. A little quiz for you. Who finished in 6th place in the last race?
It was whoever finished behind Chris Kinsman.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
That is the question, though. Who did finish in 6th?
No, it was Hoekstra, wasn't it?
Might have been Wubke.
It was Hoekstra because Brugman and Olsen had a coming together, and Hoekstra, the opportunist, took them both.
Well, yeah, that might be it, but
that
by
means
this point, we're just ready for race 2.
I think then the top 10 in reverse order should be Muscat, Mason, Linnick, Brugman, Hoekstra, Kinsman, Strawn, De Vries, Francesconi, and Masciuli.
Yeah. Let's just hope Sven de Vries's, let's just hope people's and Sven de Vries's left rear brakes don't explode this time.
Yep, as we've had the 1 minute warning for the end of this warm-up session, so only a little bit of time now for drivers to practice whatever they need to try out, and it's like revising for exam at the very last minute. It's probably a bit too late now to do anything dramatic, but well, practice makes perfect, I guess. As a lot of the drivers have actually peeled back into the pits. That's what I'd be doing right now. I think I'd go and have a long, hard drink after that first race, because that looked like a tough one as well. So many guys were on the edge going through quite a few of those corners, and the surprise for me was how difficult Ascari was today. There was so many instances there. It really looked like the hardest place on the track to keep the car pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a difficult corner with Ascari. It'll be interesting to see who goes up in the sprint race. I think we're about to get started.
Yep, here we go. Positions are being set. Any second now, we're going to hear that really, really loud shout that always puts me off when I'm talking. So
ready for it then?
I'll try not to talk just in case it happens.
Wait for it. He's just trying to... I do this sometimes. Sometimes I have to bridge the gap, and usually I've gotten a... Oh, here we go. Gotten pretty good at it.
That was good effort, Josh.
I tried. R Factor Man gets me sometimes too.
You're a true veteran of R Factor.
Yeah, well, I've been around for 3 years, and I've been doing commentary for 1. I know R Factor by now.
Great stuff. So the cars are all coming out onto the grid. Drivers are just loading up whatever they need to load up, and well, we're only a matter of seconds away from getting this second race running. Once again, we'll have a parade lap, a warm lap, whatever you want to call it, to start off with. And then once that lap's over, we'll have another fantastic standing start. So Jason Muscat takes off and leads the field away onto this warm-up lap, and he will have pole position for this race thanks to finishing in 10th place in race 1 for Multiforce GP. And alongside him, once again, Rob Mason is starting very high up for race 2, so we'll see if he can do, well, put on a good show just like he did at Silverstone 2 weeks ago. Masai Mlinik for Hawkeye Racing is in 3rd, with Lars Brugman in 4th, who was another victim of Ascari in that first race, so he'll be hoping to have a better race too. Wupke Hoekstra is in 5th place. Luckily for him, he doesn't have to pit this time around, so hopefully he won't get any speeding penalties. With Chris Kingsman, really going to be interested to see what he can do from 6th. He started all the way back in 15th in race 1 and finished up in 5th place, so interested to see what he could do starting further up the grid and whether he can maybe spring a surprise or two. Eric Strana for Ice Cold Races in 7th, with Sven de Vries for Satellite in 8th place. And then we have our stars of race 1, Michael Francesconi and Eros Masciuli, both the Pescara racing drivers, starting in 9th and 10th respectively on row 5. And can they carve their way through the grid once again in this 12-lap race? Behind them on row 6 is Wesley Stefano and Joe Watts, also a pair of teammates for EJ Engineering. And 13th place will be Philip Koenig, and 14th will be Jacob Pegg.
Yep, then we have Theo van der Brink in 15th place in that Woods car. He's followed directly by Ben Willis in the CM Tech in 16th. Then it is Brett Madcoff in the Deltex in 17th place. Jenny Simic, who blew his engine in race 1, back in race 2, but all the way down in 18th as a result. Roy Bajar 19th in the TR Blue Boss Motorsports car, and it's Adam Osgood in the second Deltec in 20th. Then Christoph Lichtenstein 21st, and then 22nd place is Terence Gregg. He's followed by Mike Quint, who's followed by Matt Richards, who rounds out the field, having not even really got that far in race 1.
Yep, and it looks like this time around it's Adam Osgood's turn to have a few issues as he, well, I don't know what happened to him on the warm-up lap, but he's gone back to the pits now, so he will be starting from the pit lane this time around. Josh, you were such a star at picking the driver in race 1. Who are you going to go this time around? Oh, his Mustang's gone off. Wow, he's actually hit the wall, warming his tyres up, but he lines up in his grid spot, hopefully without any apparent damage.
He's literally had a bit of an argument with the wall there. That's not very good. Race winner, you know what? Barring an engine failure, I'm going to say, not Jonas Simic, but his teammate, Matthew Blyneck. Be brave.
Okay, I like it. I'm going to go for Hoekstra this time around. I think he's got points to prove, and hopefully he won't have to pit for any reason this race. That's my pick. So it looks like now all the drivers are on the grid. Adam Oscar's in the pits. We're waiting. I think there's someone, I think it was Van der Brink, just lining up. So the lights are going on once again. And we go for race 2 in Monza. A bit of a hold up on the start, and look at that by Blinick, a great start. He's gone past both the guys ahead of him to take the lead in this race straight away. Fantastic start by the driver as now they all pan out into turn 1. Look at Hoekstra looking to try and slip through a couple of guys. He's in 4th place at the moment, and Muscat takes, Rob Mason's round.
Oh dear, it's happened already.
There's a huge stack up behind him, all kinds of drama going on behind.
Around again. Well, that is the big one.
It's just like Silverstone, isn't it? Oh, and someone else has gone off. Is that Kingsman? I think it is. Oh no, he's off into the wall. That's so unfortunate after such a good race 1. And he's going to rejoin, but he's all the way back in last. It looks like Strawn is out as well, so he got caught up in that incident with Rob Mason, I think. And that's another guy who looked so strong, who's out of this race. But Mlinek leads. Oh no, Muscat's just taken him into the second mode, so Muscat retakes the lead from his pole position. Mlinek's now back to second, and there's a bit of a gap back to Hoekstra in 3rd with Lars Bruckmann right in his tail. And Masciuli and Simic are side by side, so both these guys have had a fantastic start. Simic, how is he in 5th position right now? That is absolutely incredible. He must have really benefited from all that drama there, kept it clean. And look at that, he's away from Masciuli and already looking towards the front. So can Simic do something incredible here and win this race? That would be amazing. But back at the front, there's a huge line of cars. Muscat, Mlinek, Hoekstra and Brugman are all, well, line of stern, gearbox to front wing pretty much. It's so close between the 3 of them as we end lap 1. It's all about who could get the right position into turn 1.
Oh my lord, it's going to be 3-4 into Redfield at once. Yeah, this is almost certainly going to go wrong if they can't do it right. But I have faith. Is it ill-placed faith? It's not, you know. They managed to get through. Fair play to them. And, well, yep, everyone's there. Simic, though, with easily the best start. He used the full extent of the start finish at the start. Got around all the incidents. Stayed behind fellow Koenig. Leapfrogged him, and now he's at the 5th.
Yeah, look at this. It's so close between Brugman and Hoekstra through Curva Grande. Brugman's actually up the inside, and he's taken this position. And there we go. Already he's got the place as we go into the chicane. So Brugman up into 3rd place now and looking ahead. And already, oh, there's someone off in the background. Who was that? Quint has gone off.
That's Quint.
Quint has
Quint
gone
has
off.
gotten involved in some excursion.
Yeah, and he's stopped the car, and is he going to let everyone through? Has he retired it? Yeah, he's trying to reverse out. So that's Quint all the way to the back of the field, and that is a real shame for him. I think he just took a bit too much speed going through De La Rosier
Oh,
there.
watch this for P6. I can't, sorry, it's Sven de Vries, Philip Koenig, Erasmus Shirley, all jigging it out, and even behind there's a battle for first. It's like fights wherever you go. Koenig's had a great race to the start of this race.
Yeah, an absolutely electrifying start by some
Here
of
comes
these
de
drivers
Vries.
right now.
He's chasing, isn't he? He's chasing, he's not letting go. Sven de Vries wanting to make amends for any problems he may have encountered in race 1 by doing brilliantly in race 2, and he's not going to let Koenig go that easily, that much is for certain. Meanwhile, it's still all fighting up at the front, and well, we got Richards and Watts down in 11th, but this is where it's at, this battle for the lead.
I think it is. Mlinick is poking his nose up, but not quite close enough to Muscat. And Brugman is right on his tail through the first chicane, nearly pushing him through there. Is Brugman urgent to get on? Oh, someone's gone round. Oh, I think that's Mashuli. He's cut the first chicane, slid across the grass, but kept the car pointing in the right direction. Just ahead of him, though.
Was it Francesco? No, well, Mashuli has gone round. Yes, he's down in 8th.
Yeah, but just ahead of them, Brugman is now going up the inside of Mlinick. Oh, but not quite there. So back towards P6. Sven de Vries and Philip Koenig are battling it out as well. And de Vries just has to slot in behind Koenig there, who holds on to 6th place.
There is a huge battle going on for P2 as well. Brugman and Mlinick. These two went Wupke down to 5th. There goes Simoncic of all people.
Yeah, he's up into 4th place now, so that's another position for Simoncic. There's no stopping him at the moment. Really good drive, and I just saw in the background as well, Koenig went off, and he's all the way back down to 9th place as well. Will Brugman try and look up the inside of Mlinick for a Ascari? No, he won't. Mlinick is just getting a bit loose though, isn't he? Really sliding that car around, can't pick up with the tyres, but trying everything he can to stay with Muscat and not let Brugman go ahead of him. And I think we're probably going to get a few changes of position down towards Parabolica, because Simoncic has got Hostra right in his tail, but brakes late and brakes well into Parabolica, and holds onto that place for the moment.
Yeah, these three just digging it out for the lead here. Brugman, Mlinick, Muscat, Simoncic close again. Do you expect there'll be any team orders if Simoncic get through? I suspect maybe Jernish will either fight away or Matthew won't fight him too much, but he's got Wupke to worry about.
Yeah, and look at that. Brugman now has taken P2. I thought they were going to go 3 wide down the main straight there, but Brugman just got up the inside of Mlinick and slotted in behind Jason Muscat as well. So Brugman definitely on a charge, taking about a position a lap, seems to be his ratio at the moment, and that means now that Mlinick has got his teammate, as he said, Simoncic right behind him. We'll have to see what happens when those two get a bit close together, which is happening actually pretty quickly as well. And I'm sure Simoncic will want to try and get ahead of his teammate, because Brugman's already on the back of Jason Muscat, and Muscat is looking under pressure right now.
Yeah, he is looking under pressure there very much, and Lars Brugman is applying said pressure. We've lost it under Mosca, as we have in Eric Strana, but Matthew Mlinick and Janis Simoncic 3 and 4 now. Although Janis not catching up into the rate, he'd probably want Quint out as well. We've got 2 DNFs and a suspension problem. That's not a good sign. But Koenig out as well. I think we've got problems.
Koenig's actually just gone off at the Lesmo as well. I think he just, again, took too much speed. So he's gone at, back at the front though. Last Brugman is going around the outside of Jason Muscat into Parabolica. Jason Muscat breaks so late and holds onto it. Brugman's going to try and get the switch back. He slots in right behind Muscat, practically pushing him out of the corner. And look at this behind them as well. Here comes Mlinick and Simoncic. They've all got a good run as the leaders go side by side down towards the first corner. Brugman this time around has the inside line. We're going to be 2 by 2 into turn 1. Who's going to come out of this the best? Muscat and Brugman still side by side. And Muscat holds onto position. And Mlinick goes off. But Simoncic takes 3rd.
Yeah, that happened, and Jernish was there. He got clouted by Hoekstra, who lost it under break, and then Wupke has actually went and waited for Matchy to go through. How sporting of him. Very nice of Wookie to do that. It has cost him time, but he doesn't mind. He let Matchy through. It was the right thing to do. But we still got a battle on here for first in the hour. No one's arcing it through. Here comes Janish.
Yeah, there we go. So Brugman gets past Jason Muscat, and Simičić gets past him at the same time, both coming out of the Della Roggia there. So all of a sudden, Muscat's lost 2 positions, and Simičić on this charge from, well, what was it? 18th place, was it, that he started in so far down the grid? And he finds himself in 2nd place after 4.5 laps. That is truly incredible. And looking at the back of the leader right now, Lars Brugman right ahead of him as they go through Ascari. The top 3. Oh, Linus Sterner's, yes, Christopher Lichtenstein has just retired. I'm just going to see here if Simičić can get some kind of run going down towards Parabolica. Lars Brugman doesn't feel the need to defend at all, so it's not quite close enough between the two of them just yet, but certainly I'm sure something's going to happen, because these two both look super quick and they both desperately want to get a win after race 1.
Oh, we've apparently got something on for P10 here between Richards and Greg and Francesconi. We've got 4-way, there's Vitale, 5-way if you count Watts. This is absolute craziness heading down here so far. Definitely keep an eye on this, because Greg and Vitale are battling. Richards is chasing down Francesconi. He's got the draft. He's going to move to the outside of the inside. Roy's got it on Terrence.
Yeah, incredible battle. They are all so close to each other. Oh, look at Vasal from so far back. And Richards sees him coming and leaves him enough room. And Vasal's actually lost out because of that. There we go. Gretsch is trying to go around his outside towards Curva Grande. Can Greg get it, or will he have to just kind of slot back in? Watts is trying to push Greg round the corner as well. I think they both want to get past Vasal right now. As further up ahead, oh, Mlinik's gone off. He's gone off coming out of Della Roggia, so he's lost a couple of positions as well, all the way back down to 8th place also.
That's not going to aid anything for him, but it's going to aid wonders for the likes of Francesconi, who'll now probably gain a little bit of time. But this Vasile Greg battle is still roaring on for P11. It's not even the top points position. And these two are giving each other chase for it. That's how much the racing means to them, and they want every single place, no matter how much it's worth. These two just want to battle each other. Well, I'll tell you who wants to battle each other. Lars Brugman and Janish Simičić, because if Janish can catch even more of Lars, he'll be right on the back for the video.
Yeah, certainly it's looking like it's spread out a little bit between the two, but much closer further behind is Rob Mason and Eros Mashuli for P6 and 7th place. Mashuli looking to the outside of Rob Mason and trying to get the switch back now, coming out of the Parabolicus, remaining on his tail. And we'll see if anything happens here down the straight. I'll also keep an eye on Simičić, because he's right on the back of Lars Brugman as well. And he's actually looking to the inside of Brugman. Going into turn 1. Has he got it? Well, no, not quite. I think it's there
for Mashuli.
Yeah.
Well, is it? He's got his wheel there? Yes, he has. No, he hasn't. Yes, he has. Little bit of uncertainty there, but he got it.
Well, good move there by Mashuli, just held it around the outside for the second part of the first chicane, and that's really good. Oh, look at that, Simičić around the outside of Brugman through Della Roggia, and just has to get out of it after he clobbers the curb in the second part of the chicane there. He's actually going to lose another position to Jason Muscat, as I've seen Richards has retired as well.
Oh, wow, Whoopie Hooks actually, Sven de Vries voting to kick Richards, interestingly.
Yeah, it looks like Richards just had a few connection issues there, and
but he's DNF'd anyway, so yep, out of the race.
End of his day, and that's a shame for him, but hopefully he can get that sorted out for 2 weeks' time at least. Simičić once again on the back of Jason Muscat, coming through Ascari, gets a good run out of the corner, and Muscat hasn't gone defensive yet. Simičić right behind him, probably not going to have a go into the Parabolica. Yeah, I think he's actually just letting up a little bit here. That's quite interesting to see. So he's thinking more about turn 1 rather than the Parabolica, and that's wise thinking by Simičić. And look at that already, up the inside of Muscat as they come down towards the pit straight. And that's just good thinking by Simičić, getting the run out the corner. And just going to try and outbrake Muscat into turn 1. Can he do it? He wants to get his second place back.
This looks like his. Well, it's not given, but no, it's not his. Interesting.
No, it certainly wasn't, was it? It was slight bit of contact between the two, but Simic just couldn't quite get the line coming through the chicane, and it's always the case of if you don't get it done by the first part of the chicane, then it's always going to be a struggle in the second half. So Simic have to regroup, and this is all good for Lars Brugman because right now he's got a 2-second lead over Jason Muscat, and with the laps winding down fairly quickly as well, this is only going to help him more and more as Sven de Vries is now onto the back of Simic also. I think Simic is starting to get a bit desperate here. He's going for moves where there isn't really a move going on. He's just trying to get that position back from Muscat, but it's not going to be easy.
You know what I like to call this? The Vandermoller scenario. You know why I like to call it that? Because Patrick Vandermoller, who was one of the WCS BMW drivers, actually had a very similar scenario happen to him in a Formula race once. Though it was in Singapore. He was driving, and then the two drivers behind him was catching up. But you know what? They were battling each other, and they battled each other so hard, he was able to go ahead and win the race.
Yeah,
so we are in a Vandermoller scenario with Brugman leading.
I think Jason Muscat is probably Brugman's best friend right now, isn't he? Because he's certainly helped out, whether, well, not intentionally, but it's just the way it's kind of happened. And it's now a three-car battle for second place because De Vries is on the back of Simic. Simic is on the back of Muscat, and they're going to go 3 wide down into turn 1. This could not end too well, and De Vries wisely just kind of bails out of it there, and no change for position, and it actually means that Simic is once again under pressure from De Vries because De Vries had a good line through turn 1 and 2, whereas Simic didn't, as he was compromised in his entry. And that means that again it's all close between these three, and again Simic goes to the inside of Muscat, and this time around he's broken so late, and he still made the corner.
Down the inside there was not enough distance for him, but he's made it work somehow.
How did he hit both those apexes there? That was incredible.
Oh, how he did that is beyond it. It takes a special kind of someone to break that late and make apexes, but fair enough, and he's still going. He's still breaking late. Goes well wide around there. I think he's a man determined to get away from the Maltese. That's what he is. He's trying to get away from Muscat. He's trying to get away from De Vries, the American. It's not working out for him, but he's trying to.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. Muscat's actually coming with Simic right now, isn't he? De Vries has just fallen back a little bit, and Simic wants to shake him off and go after Brugman, but it's certainly not looking easy. And with 2/3 of this race completed already, Simic is going to have to do something magical to try and make up that 3-second deficit that he has now to Lars Brugman. The gap has really opened up with all that battling that's been going on as further down. Michael Francesconi's had an issue at Ascari. He's just lost it on the inside of Ascari there, coming out of the first left-hander.
Yeah, look at this for 6. Masciuli versus Mason here. Drake versus Mascara.
Yeah, it's looking good, isn't it? Side by side down into turn 1. Masciuli has got the outside line at the moment.
Mason's there on the inside, and that could be so beneficial contact between the two. Mason's wheel goes into the side pod, but yeah, what he's pulled through is Masciuli.
Yep, just about gets it. I thought Rob Mason was going to get the better exit there out of the chicane, but that just didn't quite happen. And well, good move and a good battling between the two of them, but I don't think it's over yet, is it? Because Rob Mason's looking back up the inside at the Della Roggia, and Masciuli just about left him enough room, but made it difficult for Mason, and Mason couldn't find a position back. And then again, look at that, trying to find the inside line for Lesmo, but Masciuli was having none of it, and it was nearly contact behind us. Mlinic had to just check up there with Rob Mason right ahead of him.
Oh, well, I lost my track of thought for this. Sorry for a moment, but this battle's still going on. I mean, these two giving it everything. They got each other. This is for P6, for goodness sake.
Yeah, it's close, and it's close as well for the podium position, the final podium position, because right now De Vries has got a good run out of Ascari and already got past Jason Muscat going into Parabolica. So again, De Vries finding some speed at the end of the race and picking up 3rd place right now. Muscat has fought valiantly, but unfortunately fallen off the podium for the moment, but I'm sure he won't give up and he will try and fight back from this, and still got a chance, but it's looking ever more difficult for him.
Not looking easy, is it? Really not going to be easy for him now. He's going to have to work it.
Yeah, especially with the guys ahead are a little bit spread out as well. Notably, though, the gap between Lars Brugman and Simičić has come down to 1.7 seconds. So Simičić was a full half a second faster than Brugman in that last lap alone. And, well, that means that potentially they could be, well, nearly close to each other by the time we get to the final lap of the race. Might be just a little bit too much in it, but of course Brugman has to keep up the pace. He can't make any mistakes, otherwise it could all go wrong for him.
Yeah, I mean, what is there not to like about this race so far? There's not much.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. I can't believe how quick it's gone.
All the time.
Yeah, I cannot believe how quick it's gone so far, and it looks like more is happening further down the field as well. Terence Grech has got Roy Vassal right beside him going into Lesmo, and Vassal gets a position, and Grech tries to come back, and oh, look at that, Vassal's gone up, and he just about manages to hold on to it there. I think there might have been a bit of contact between the two of them, Grech and Vassal, but well, Vassal did very good to hold on to it. And here we go. Francesconi has got past Grech already. So has Joe Watts as well. So poor exit by Grech there. And that moves Francesconi up into ninth and Watts into the top 10.
Last lap for Brugman.
Yeah, so the last lap has begun. I can't believe we're there already. It's been that quick, hasn't it, Josh? And he's got a 1.2 second lead over Simičić. Another half a second was clawed back by Simičić in that last lap. So that means that it's going to be under a second by the end of this lap if trends continue. But as long as Brugman doesn't do anything too rash, he should be able to hold on to this. Don't want to curse him or anything, but he's just got to keep doing what he's doing well.
De Vries is under threat from Muscat for P3. He's really going to hammer it into the Della Rosa, going to try and find a way through, but it's not going to work, and the American's going to hold it for now, but this is the battle we want to watch, because this is close, and Muscat not giving in. He's going for it now. Lesmo one, he finds himself going anywhere. There he is, through now, but Sven De Vries has time enough to get it back, so it's not over yet.
Yeah, really good effort by Muscat. It looked like it might have been all over for him when he got overtaken by De Vries a lap ago, but he fought back and got the position back, and now he's only got half a lap to hold on. There's still two potential overtaking points down at Ascari and into Parabolica right at the end of the lap, and De Vries is all over the back of him, just ahead as well. Simičić has closed in to within 0.7 of a second of Brugman as they go towards Parabolica. Can Brugman hold on to this, or will Simičić get the position in the final corner? Brugman just needs to sweep it in, doesn't have to do anything dramatic, and just hold it on the exit, and I think he's probably done it.
He can just fold it over from here if he cares.
So here comes Brugman then, and he will take his first win in WCS, and he will win here the second race in Monza. Simičić is second, and Jason Muscat just about holds on to third. So good effort by Muscat. He was out of the podium positions, but he fought back
we got
to take it back from De Vries.
This is close. Watts is trying to squeeze Vassal out. Desperate struggle to keep 10th for Joe Watts and Vassal. Oh, he just loses it on the entrance of the Parabolica there, but it will be P11 for him and 10 for Watts.
Yeah, that's good little battle right at the end there as well, and Vassal actually fought back from that excursion that he had a lap ago. So Watts just about holds on to 10th. Hoekstra got 5th. Mashuli got 6th place. Rob Mason ended up in 7th place for Drake Racing, with Mlinek all the way, well, down in 8th after such a good start to the race. That lightning getaway by Mlinek was truly electrifying to see, with Francesconi in 9th for Pescara. So he didn't really improve at all in the second race today. He couldn't quite emulate the speed and aggression that he had in that first race. Joe Watts, as we said, held on to 10th place, but EJ Engineering with Roy Vassal just outside the top 10 in the end by a matter of tenths of a second. Chris Kingsman had an off, didn't he, in that first lap at Curva Grande, but he recovered to take 12th place. So good drive by Kingsman. I'm sure he would be disappointed by that off in the first lap, but at least he kept on going and got some positions back. Grech finished in 13th after that battle for 9th only a lap ago, so I'm not sure what happened to him there, with Wesley Stefano in 14th. Theo van der Brink got 15th place for Woods, with Hoekstra in 16th and Brett Metcalf, the final runner on the lead lap still, in 17th place with Deltec. And your retirements for today were Jacob Pegg, Christopher Lichtenstein, Philip Koenig, Adam Oscar, Mike Quint, and Eric Strana.
What a race that was, eh?
Absolutely enthralling, Josh. Absolutely enthralling. That was, again, such a quick race, wasn't it? It didn't feel like 12 laps at all, and that just flew by. But great to see a win for. Sorry, I lost my voice there.
Don't blame me. It was some of that.
Yeah, great to see the battles throughout, and there's fantastic racing overall. As we'll see now if we can get any kind of interviews here. I think we might have one or two here before we go as well.
Well, it'll be good to have interviews after that race, I think.
Yeah, it will. We'll see. Yep, we'll be able to get a couple of guys in at the moment, so we'll bring them in a second. Just before that, any kind of standout drives you saw there in race one, Josh?
Well, Chris Kinsman in race one was definitely the real package of brilliance, and second, mostly just Simichits to come back in race two. It was just brilliant.
It really was, wasn't it? I thought for a second there that he could maybe pick up the win in race two, but of course Lars Brugman took the win in the end. And I can't believe that's only Brugman's first win in WCS, because he's been featuring in all the races so far and really been putting on quite a show. But just had a bit of bad luck here or there, but finally got that one under his belt. So it looks like we've got a couple of guys for interviews, so we'll bring them in.
Yes, we shall. Well, let's just see.
User was moved to your channel.
Okay. I think someone's doing it for me because I can't do
User joined your
it.
channel.
So as the drivers come in then, we'll just take a moment to
User was moved to your channel.
remember everything that happened in those two
Microphone
races and
muted.
what a night of racing it has been.
Microphone
And we will have 3 interviews here. So I think we shall start off with our winner for race 2, Lars Brugman. And well, you've had a bit of bad luck in the first few races, Lars, but you really brought it home there in race 2 here today, and what a fantastic drive it was.
Yeah, thanks. Although, to be honest, my bad luck has also been some mistakes by myself. Silverstone I spun, here I crashed into the wall, so it's not all been bad luck, but, you know, when it's gone smooth, it's been pretty good. Today I didn't have that good of a pace. At the end, Journey was catching me about half a second a lap, so I was glad I got the gap when I did, and I could bring it home.
Yeah, well, you had a very good second race there, Lars. You know, he really did take advantage of everything that came to you. I mean, race 1 wasn't as good for you, but, you know, it was race 2 where it all came together. And do you think the shorter race format suits you?
Well, you know, maybe, I don't know. I never really think about if it suits me or not. Maybe.
Well, it is a shorter format, so, you know, there's more of a challenge, isn't there? Because you have to get going straight away.
Yeah, that is true. You know, especially in race 2 where there's no pit stop. You have to, you know, go right away. There's no time to, as you saw at the end of the race, there's no time to close the gaps or catch people. It's, you know, it's a real sprint race, so I guess I'm quite good at that, maybe.
Yeah, really insightful stuff there, Lars Brugman. Great drive for you in that second race for sure. And well, congratulations and thank you very much.
Yeah, sorry for the bad answers, but
User was moved to your channel.
No, not a problem. Very good answers indeed. So now we'll move on to another guy who really starred in race 2, Jason Muscat, who managed to pick up a podium in the second race here today. And after a few issues in race 1, I'm sure it was great to get a good result here in race 2.
Yes, well, I prefer to if I had a better result in race 1 as well, but yeah, in race 2 I got lucky that on the last lap Sven made a mistake at the first chicane, and I took advantage of that. I need to work more on my race pace because I think my qualifying pace is quite good, but race pace is still lacking, I think, and concentration as well, because in race 1 when I crashed that parabolica, I completely forgot which corner I was approaching, which not a good sign. But I'm hoping I can get more podiums in the future if I focus on race pace.
Yeah, really good stuff. And how's it been in terms of just getting to know the league and getting to know the mod and everything? How's that been over the last couple of weeks for you?
Been okay. It's more about, I think, racecraft and racing wheel to wheel in these cars. It's quite tricky, especially because the balance of the car not so easy. If you make a fast car on a single lap, it's not going to be stable and hard to battle with. But overall, I think it will get better as people settle down a bit and we get used more to the mod.
Okay, thank you very much, Jason. And once again, very well done for your performance in race 2. It was fantastic to see you battle it out with the likes of Sven and Lars there.
Thank you.
So now we move on to our third driver, Sven de Vries, and a solid performance today. No wins like in round 1, but again another podium appearance and some good points all around today, Sven.
Yeah, it was an interesting day at the office. Definitely had the pace, but quickly noticed in race 1 early on that my throttle pedal wasn't registering 100% quite often. So I lost a lot of time doing that. I'd be closing gaps, and then between 2 corners, I'd lose 6/10 because I could barely go forward. Thought I resolved that after race 2, but noticed the issue was still there in race 2. So I may just have to buy a new wheel and pedals to resolve that. But other than that, yeah, I managed to score some solid points with a 3rd and 4th place, and have some nice scraps in both races. So yeah, definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, so was that issue kind of a contributing factor to your crash in race 1 in Ascari? That was quite a spectacular incident.
No, that was just me. I mean, like Jason was describing too, the car is a little bit tricky. I mean, when I use my my Silverstone setup with the higher wings, it's amazing. The balance is great around Monza, but obviously you want the 1-1 wings to go as fast as possible, which therefore creates a car that's less balanced. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. So yeah, it's a risk you take. I kind of missed the apex going into Ascari and spun out, but yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Well, hopefully you can get all those issues sorted out by time for the next round in a couple of weeks' time, and hopefully we'll see you back in some more good positions and good scraps once again. Thanks, Sven.
Thank you.
All right, and I did say we had 3 interviewees earlier, but we've actually got a 4th as well. So I'm pleased to say that Jurne Simičić is joining us in the booth as well. So Jurne, great drive today. 2 questions really that I saw from race 1, which I really want to ask you about. Well, actually, no, race 1 and 2. The first question is, what happened in race 1? Because you had that race in the bag and it was looking so good for you until that unfortunate issue of your engine. And the second question is, how did you get such an amazing start in race 2?
Yeah, the first race, well, I went into turn 1 and suddenly engine didn't respond anymore to my gas pedal. I have no idea what happened. I didn't even go into... I mean, I didn't have double downshift, I didn't go high revs, engine wasn't overheating, of course, radiator is locked. I don't think I was aggressive on gearbox because I saw onboards of other people going much more aggressive and quicker with downshifts. But I guess it's just the variance of the engine life that has to be fixed. I don't know what I could have done different. But for the race too, I thought I should go like all in, but then of course I have to be safe. And fortunately I was on the inside for turn 1, which is a lot safer than outside. But second apex is always tricky, and there was a big crash. I didn't know what is happening. A lot of smoke was there. But then I came through and it was P7 or P6, and I was like, what? And then just some people in front of me made mistakes. I capitalized on some battles and suddenly I was P2. But didn't manage to get it through into the lead, but it was a great push in the end also with some amazing lap times. I really went all in for the last 3 laps. What was it, 41.5 or something? I was just amazed. But yeah, it wasn't enough at the end.
Yeah, I really saw you. Quite surprised me actually the way you managed to close down and Brugman right at the end there. Do you reckon that if you maybe had 1 or 2 more laps, you might have been able to get past him for the lead?
Yeah, I even had, I think, I was 4 tenths behind, if I remember correctly. We would have amazing battle if there was 1 extra lap. But anyway, I mean, it is as it is.
Yep. Well, anyway, unfortunate luck for today, but still some fantastic action that you put on for us, UNA. So hope to see you again in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. So that's about all we've got time for today, but of course the action is going to continue on. But before we even get to the F3 round in 2 weeks' time, we've actually got some more racing for you next week, and at the same time on Wednesday will be the debut race of the BMW series that was meant to actually kick off a week ago, but it's unfortunately got delayed by a couple of weeks. But we hope we'll be able to bring you the first round next week from Donington Park. And well, I truly love that track, and that's a really incredible track for any kind of touring car or tin top racing. It really always brings out a lot of action, so a great way to start the BMW series. So I'm sure you can join us there again at the same time as usual for some fantastic racing. And then in 2 weeks' time, the F3s return, and we will be in France in Magny-Cours for what will surely be another 2 action-packed races. And if the first 2 rounds are anything to go by, you certainly won't want to miss that. So, with all that said and done, is there anything you would like to add, Josh?
I think it's just been a great race, and it's a shame I'm only doing this as a one-off, but I can imagine the rest of the season's going to be great.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I'm sure you'll all want to stick around. I've certainly enjoyed these first 2 rounds so far, and I can't wait to see what action is going to come. But for now, I think that's everything that has been said. So thank you very much, Josh, for being able to stand in today for Thomas Hinds. It's great to have you on board, and an absolute pleasure commentating with you once again. You certainly brought a lot of energy to the commentary booth today. And also big thanks, of course, to Ben Willis on the cameras, who's done a fantastic job once again, bringing you all the pictures and all the action, and has an absolute wealth of knowledge as well. So thank you very much, Ben. And from me, Sam Jones, that's it for now, and we'll see you again in a week's time. Goodbye.